podcast of Football 101. This is show number 38. Show number 38 is entitled Richard Sherman versus Derrelle Revis. Best cornerback debate. That's right. This is the Beetle. This is Football 101. I'm losing it. No, I'm not losing it. But this is our audio and video podcast. Really our second video podcast for Podbean. And this is Football 101. I want to thank all our sponsors. Let me just get right up front. Thank all our sponsors. Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, I want to thank YouTube. There you go. Thank you. And there has been a big debate. And I am the Beetle, by the way. For those of you who don't, I am the Beetle. Yes, you can see my jerseys, my classic Walter Payton jersey back in the day. I got that jersey again. I got that jersey when I lived in Detroit. I was a big Chicago Bears fan. And of course, I was a big Walter Payton fan. My boy, sweetness. Dang. So smooth. So intense. Give me the yards. Give me the sweetness. Yes. You see Bailey 34. That's in tribute of Walter Payton. And then of course number 8, my own jersey. This is really my own jersey. My own jersey. From Miami University in Ohio. And I just knocked down the my Miami University alumni deal. From Miami University in Ohio, where I played football, cornerback, defensive back, from 1979 to 1980, as a walk-on, and loved it immensely. Coaching staff gave me an opportunity to be a walk-on, and play on the scout team, and I enjoyed it immensely. All 2.5 years. Big props to Coach Reed. Coach Tressel, my defensive back coaches as well, my teammates. I loved it immensely. That was probably, not probably, but the best, let me make sure, the best years that I had at Miami University, bar none. So I want to thank Miami University in Ohio for embracing this little guy being a walk-on and enjoying the moment, enjoying as much of the fun and excitement and really the camaraderie that I had with my teammates, which includes John Harbaugh. The head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Can you believe I didn't even remember it until just a few weeks ago. I knew he was at graduate of Miami University, but John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens now, was a teammate of mine. So what a small world. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. It just came to my mind. But anyway, this show is 30. Show number 38. I'm a defensive back. I'm born and bred defensive back. Why am I born and bred a defensive back? Because I have 4 older brothers who, bigger than me, and I had to go against them. And my closest brother, Dwight, was a wide receiver, so he needed competition. So I ended up being a defensive back in the backyard and always defending playing against bigger guys and defending bigger guys. So I ended up being a defensive back from grade school, elementary, junior high, high school where I really, junior high and high school where I started at my position, and then in college where I was fortunate to be on scout team and walk on and find my place on the team. So this debate is between 2 defensive backs, corners, and which I know something about. Yes, I know something about. I played it all my life. And this, it's kind of interesting. This debate just blew up after the 49ers and Richard Sherman have made it to the Super Bowl. And I'm not going to talk about the Super Bowl. I'm not going to give you no prediction of the upcoming Super Bowl. Because I don't have a team in. I like both teams. I like Patrick Mahomes. I like Richard Sherman. I like Garofalo. I like Bosa. I like the 49. I love San Francisco. Yes, I do love San. I'm going to admit I do love San Francisco. I've been to San Francisco several times. Just love that city. Oh, I'm sorry. I love that city. I love Kansas City. I love Patrick Mahomes. Oh, I haven't been to Kansas City, but I always loved the Chiefs, AFC team. Haven't been to Kansas City, but I always was an AFC fan from day one, and I love them with the head coach Hank Stram, Otis, the wide receiver, the classic Curly Culp, Willie Lanier. I'm talking about classic at the beginning of the year, beginning of their start. So I'm a big Kansas City fan as a fan, but I've never been to Kansas City. I've been to San Francisco, and San Francisco is just a great city. I love their tradition. They're kind of highbrow. Back in the day with Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Dwight Clark and the boys, Ronnie Lott and the boys. So yes, I'm a little partial to San Francisco because I've been out in San Francisco several times. Love the city. So again, this is no prediction on the Super Bowl whatsoever. This podcast, video and audio podcast show is about playing defensive cornerback, which I love, which I feel like it's me. And the debate is going on with Richard Sherman and Derrelle Revis. Who's the best cornerback? Best cornerback debate. Now, here's the thing. And I waited to do this podcast show because I wanted to see what the networks were going to say. ESPN, Fox, and so forth. And it just blew up after Richard Sherman and the 49ers made it to the Super Bowl. And Derrelle Revis just went on a rant, Twitter rant, calling out Richard Sherman, saying that he is not a true cornerback, a one-on-one man-to-man. He's a zone cornerback. And that what he means by zone, he plays on one side and he matches up with the wide receivers on that side. Derrelle Revis, through his career, tended to play on both sides, was matched up with the fastest wide receiver during his day. And I need to do a quick review. Wow, this is really live. And I'm going to, and I didn't plan to do this, but this is really live. In the debate, Derrelle Revis called out Richard Sherman, and dogged him out for not playing man up throughout his career, particularly his 9th year, of which Richard Sherman is. Now, Richard Sherman got his name, came from Stanford, played with the Seattle Seahawks, with that stellar defense in Seattle several years ago, the Legion of Boom. And in their defensive scheme, a defensive scheme, the quarterbacks played their side of the ball. They didn't have to go side to side. So Sherman benefited from that scheme. There's no doubt about that. But he is a true cornerback. One-on-one. Turn the play in. A one-on-one can turn the play in on runs and then match up with the best rivals. And I do mean the best wide receivers, and make the play on the ball. Make a play on the ball. He has done that in the zones, in the schemes that he has worked with. So in Seattle, he benefited from the Legion of Boom. He benefited from that scheme. And now that he's with San Francisco, he's benefiting again. But Derrelle Revis called him out. And I believe he called him out because apparently there's been this ongoing discussion between Sherman and Derrelle Revis for years. And as I saw on another show that were debating this, actually Fox with Antonio Cromartie, who played with Derrelle Revis. Now Antonio Cromartie was being very nice and diplomatic on Fox with and it came there and said, well, quite frankly, Antonio Cromartie just retired a couple of years ago. He was an outstanding defensive, really a big time and a larger type of cornerback. But he played with Derrelle Revis. He played in the league for at least 10 years, 10 to 13 years. And Antonio Cromartie is the real deal. But he played for 3 or 4 years with Derrelle Revis when they were with the Jets. And he was matched up with the best wide receivers. Derrelle had the number 1 wide receiver, and Antonio had the number 1 and number 1A and 1B. And I listened to what Antonio Cromartie said about Derrelle Revis. Derrelle Revis, in his heyday, I think it was year 9. No, not year 9, but year 5. He was, yes, a so-called shutdown corner. And I'm pulling up a little bit of Derrelle Revis right now on my other computer. I'm pulling it up right now. He played from 2002 to 2017. Okay, he played with the Jets. Derrelle Revis played with the Jets from 2002 to 2012. 2007. I'm sorry. 2007 to 2012. That's 5 years. Look, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years? And he really came to he had stellar years in 2010, 2011. Okay, yeah, from 2007 to 2012. 6 years. Okay. And then he was shipped off to Tampa Bay because he wanted money. Derrelle Revis wanted money. Big time contract. So they shipped him off to Tampa Bay. And he was in Tampa Bay. I'm looking at the record. 2013. Then he was in I think New England for a little bit, 2014, and then back to New York Jets in 2015 for 2 years, 2015, 2016, and then ended with Kansas City. He was, I'm just going to say that he didn't do near as well after he left the New York Jets in 2012. Actually, his highlight was 2011, 2010. Again, just looking at the stats. Sometimes when people want to call out current players, look at their stats. Look at their stats. And yes, he did play with New England Patriots for a small portion. Look at their stats. And yes, Revis was a person loved to go one-on-one. Yes, I see the picture of Revis in a New England Patriots outfit, in a uniform. Wow. He just asked for so much money. And what's so sad about this is Derrelle Revis has been out of football He's been out of football for a couple of years. Okay, and he's going after Richard Sherman because Richard Sherman really has elevated his game at his later years as a cornerback, and still making plays. Now, of course, he's getting burned too. Now, Richard Sherman is getting burned. Now, in the last, in the last game, was NFC game, he got burnt. It happens. Guess what? It happens. You do get burnt. You do get burnt occasionally in a game. It happens. Guess what? It happens. So, it's amazing. It's amazing that, you have players who have not played for a couple of years. Try to call out some of the current players. Try to call out some of the current players. And they're just wrong. Particularly when Richard Sherman got beat by Devontae Adams for the Packers. And that's when Derrelle Revis tweeted out, "Yeah, look at him getting burnt." But let's just call the tape. Well, Derrelle Revis, he was a joke. Derrelle Revis was a joke for 5 years at the end of his career. He was a joke. The Jets gave up on him because he's asking too much money, and his game went straight downhill. The Jets had him on for another year. His game went down. They shipped him off to Tampa Bay. He was down there. He was a joke there. When he was with the Patriots, he was a joke there. And then when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs, he was a joke. Call it for what it is, Derrelle Revis. Call it for what it is. Richard Sherman, yeah, he's a Stanford graduate. Giving his props. Give Sherman his props. He started with Seattle in 2011, 2012, 2013, 8 interceptions. 8 interceptions 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017. 6-7 years with Seattle Seahawks. And then now he's been with the San Francisco 49ers 2018, 2019. And he's still bringing it. He's still bringing it. He's all pro. And let me just say, yes, he talks a lot of smack. Richard Sherman's always talked a lot of smack. But let me just say this. I was pleased to see Antonio Cromartie, who is a superstar defensive back, really call out Derrelle Revis, one of his former teammates, and say, here's the deal with playing cornerback in the NFL. In the NFL, when you're called to play a scheme, you play the scheme. You play the defense. If you're asked to be one-on-one man up, you play the man up defense. Richard Sherman was not asked to play one-on-one, go side to side. It was asked to play a zone in Seattle and also in San Francisco. And he shut down whoever was in front of him in his zone as a corner. He's done it spectacular. Give the brother props. That's what Antonio Cromartie Sad. And he gives props to Derrelle Revis for going side to side. But what was interesting, even when Antonio Cromartie gave Derrelle Revis props on the Fox network, Derrelle Revis even tweeted out something against his former teammate Antonio Cromartie, which was really sad. So again, that told me, again, I'm just sitting back watching this defensive cornerback debate. That told me that Derrelle Revis has a big chip on the shoulder. Has a big chip on the shoulder. He didn't take care of himself. He knew his skill level. Now see, here's what all defensive backs knows. Let me just oh my gosh, 21 minutes. Here's what all defensive backs know, including Deion Sanders, including Darrell Green, including Willie Brown, including Mel Blount. I'm going back in the day. Lester Hayes. Let me just say, as a defensive back, let me just be real. Okay, I'm getting out of context now. Let me be real. Defensive backs know, particularly cornerbacks, we know that we're going to have, sometimes a spectacular year. We're just going to be in the groove. We're going to be in the groove. We're going to make plays. And it's going to usually come 1 to 2 years. It usually is not overextended 10 years. We're going to be on a hot streak. That's what happens. You get on a hot streak as a defensive back. You get on a hot streak. When I played defensive cornerback back in the day, I was on a hot streak. I knew my deal. I was in the prime time shape my last year as a defensive cornerback. Nobody could beat me. I was going against number 1 wide receiver on our team. Nobody could beat. My confidence level was so high, it was ridiculous. Was so high, nobody could beat me. As a cornerback, you got to have that mentality. And yes, you know you're going to be in the groove for 1 to 2 years. You're going to make plays. You're going to get interceptions. Your awareness gets to the highest level. And then guess what? It's going to edge down. Slowly but surely. You know it's going to edge down. But when you hit your peak, man, it's just surreal. Things just happen. Everything gets slow. You make plays. That's what it is about being a quarterback. And when you get burnt, you come back, you know you're going to make a play the next time around. But when you're in your groove, it's nothing better. Let me just say, there's nothing better than playing defensive cornerback on football. Nothing better. Because you take it on, you got to turn into play. You got to take on the big guards, tackles, centers. Shed them and make the tackle on the running back or the quarterback. And then you have to run with the fastest wide receivers. Make a play on the wide receivers. And this is every play. And you have to go against the fastest skilled athletes on the team. Nothing better than playing cornerback. I love that position. It is me, the Beetle. And every player that plays it, Richard Sherman, Derrelle Revis, at a supreme high level, I applaud it. But it's shameful for Derrelle Revis to take pot shots at Richard Sherman in his 9th year, getting ready to play the Super Bowl. Regardless of what happens in the Super Bowl, give the brother props. And I agree with Antonio Cromartie, giving props. Regardless what happens in the Super Bowl, to be at that level of playing cornerback, it's amazing. It's amazing. Because that, to me, of course I'm biased, it's the most difficult position playing football. and to be at that level and to take a pot shot. Now, defensive backs are supposed to be together. We're supposed to have a camaraderie. We're supposed to have a network. When you're taking pot shots at other defensive backs, other cornerbacks, that's shameful. Shame, shame, shameful on Derrelle Revis. What's wrong with you, brother? I give props to all defensive backs that play at a high NFL level. It's not easy, particularly in this day and age where you can't barely put your hands on a wide receiver. You're playing more man up. You're playing man up all the time. You're playing trail technique. You're not playing true defensive back, cornerback. You're playing trail technique. That's difficult in 2019, 2020 with the rules that they are today. So I give it up to Richard Sherman today. Derrelle Revis. Oh, come on. Can you get back out there on the field at your old ass self? Because, again, your skills depleted fast because you didn't take care of your body. As Shannon Sharp said, you didn't take care of your body. When an NFL athlete doesn't take care of their body, their skills deplete real fast. And he was just after the money, and he had a reputation as so-called Revis Island. Come on. Even Deion Sanders knew he was taking the money for several years. Come on. Again, most quarterbacks know we only have a small shelf life. And let me just say the best cornerback, bar none, in the NFL right now is Stephon Gilmore, New England Patriots. Hello, Patriots. Best corner, Stephon Gilmore, right now. So, again, I lost respect for Derrelle Revis in this debate. Not necessary. Not necessary. Shameful. Sad. Pathetic. I'm calling you out, Derrelle Revis. Keeping the tradition of defensive corner. Calling you out, Derrelle Revis. This is Football 101. I'm 28 minutes in. This is so... Yes, we're not even talking Super Bowl. It's not about the Super Bowl. It's about positions now. This is show 38, Richard Sherman versus Derrelle Revis, best cornerback debate. I have to give it over the life of the career, the best cornerback, Richard Sherman. Hello, Derrelle. Yeah, it's Richard Sherman. Yeah, as much as he talk, he's still hanging in there. Playing the best DB in the scheme that he's given. There you go. That's my opinion. That's the Beatles' opinion. That's Football 101's opinion. This is Football 101. Yeah. We out. We want to thank our sponsors, Podbean. We want to thank iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and of course, we want to thank now with our video podcast, and I got my Patriots stuff on. Yeah, and the best cornerback in the league right now, by the way, is Stephon Gilmore. It's not even Richard Sherman. No, heck no. It's Stephon Gilmore, Patriots. So, yes, do your job. We're going to be back. Maybe be back. Who knows? Whatever Brady does, we will be back. Whatever he goes to, guess what? I'm still an AFC fan. Whatever happens in the Super Bowl, I'm still an AFC fan. This is Football 101, and this is the Beatle. Yes, show 38, Richard Sherman versus Derrelle Revis, best corner debate. We out, y'all. We out. Enough of this debate. Let's play the game. Let's go one-on-one. Let's go trail technique. Let's go man-to-man. That's what I'm talking about. See ya. We out.